Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Zach Young, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're joined by Dr. Shaniqua Nicole, an Atlanta-based tax and wealth strategist and founder of Money Maven Club. Dr. Shaniqua is on a mission to help individuals and families build real, lasting wealth through strategic tax planning, financial education, and legacy-focused thinking. She's also the voice behind Black Wealth Weekly, where she breaks down wealth strategies in a way that's practical, accessible, and empowering. Her work is centered on one powerful vision: helping people retire rich, raise financially confident kids, and leave a meaningful legacy that lasts generations. Dr. Shaniqua, a very, very warm welcome to Founders Future.
Zach, that was amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for having me.
Oh, it's going to be a tremendous episode. The pleasure is ours. Before we dive in, because trust me, I got a lot to ask about this because this is very important work you're doing. Walk us through what you're doing previously. Before Maven, before Money Maven Club, what were you doing and what's really your inspiration for getting into this space?
Yeah, Zach. So I actually started my career in finance, right? So I went to college for finance and then was blessed to be able to start my career at 19 years old on Wall Street. So I had what I thought was my dream job, in school for finance, working in the financial industry, and I just really wasn't fulfilled. So what I did at that time was I started what I thought at that time was just a little side hustle where I was helping my friends, my colleagues, and, other people that know, like, and trust me. I started a tax business and I started to help them with their taxes. That led me to understanding the disparity between the clients that I was serving at work on Wall Street and then my family and friends that, we would consider Main Street. I noticed the disparity in access to information, to financial professionals, and I felt like it was my responsibility, to bridge that gap. And so, I stayed on Wall Street for about 10 years and then I retired at 30 to start my own firm so that I can bridge that gap and help people that look just like me and you retire rich and, like you said, raise rich kids.
Very important goal. We will absolutely dive into that in just 1 second. I do want to ask, what were you doing specifically on Wall Street?
Yeah, so I worked in institutional investment consulting. So I used to manage retirement accounts for like the largest firms or largest companies. So let's just say, the companies that are working with like a Merrill Lynch, these are like Home Depot, these are global companies. And so I manage the institutional retirement account. So let's say if you're an employee for Home Depot, you have a retirement account. A person like me actually manages that money, right? There are people that manage the transactions. And so what I was exposed to at such an early age, I do think that this helped me with my money mindset, because I realized that normal people that worked at Home Depot and Walmart and, very seemingly regular jobs, were actually really building real wealth. And so, I was introduced to that super early on. And I really think that that was game changer for me.
Great spot to be at a young age. That's for sure. I mean, hey, you were dealing with some big numbers,
Oh
right?
man. Yeah,
There's money in those institutional
absolutely.
accounts.
And I'll tell you, I had to make sure our accounts balanced every day, right? So let's say you were working for the company, you wanted to take a loan distribution, you make that request. A person on my end would have had to like complete the distribution, make sure the stocks are sold or make sure the stocks are purchased and make sure the plan balanced at the end of the day. So we're talking accounts, trillions of dollars of money moving, and even one penny off can make or break, millions of dollars if there, wasn't proper attention to detail. So I loved it. I love the work that I did. I love what I learned. And, that's literally what got me here today.
And how long ago was it that you retired from Wall Street to start Maven?
Yeah, so well, actually I started back then, right? So I have been doing taxes since I was 19 years old. So that's almost 19 years ago. I'm 30, I'll be 39 in 2026. I'm 38 currently. So yeah, it was about 19 years ago that I entered into the tax space. I went full time when I was 30. So it's been 8 years full time and I'm loving it.
I love it. So 10, just about 10 years, we'll call it just about 10 years full time
Yeah,
in the business. I'm
right.
sure the business has gone through some change over the years, as
Oh my
business
goodness.
typically does. But let's dive into the business today. Walk us through Maven, walk us through the Money Maven Club as well. Just, what does working with yourself look like? Who are you typically working with? Everything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. So, Maven, my goal with Maven is for it to offer access to financial literacy and financial advice and tax planning to the everyday person, right? When I first left Wall Street, that was my heart. And then somewhere along the way, just for business purposes and, as I learned who was my ideal client, I feel like that had changed, right? And then I think with the internet, we started to do coaching and grow the business heavily on the internet. And so we were working with clients all over the country, all different type of income sizes, entrepreneurs, small business owners, and W-2 employees. And so what we want to do is really democratize access to financial planning. So we offer free tax plans to everyone. In the past, these tax plans used to cost $5,000, right? And this is literally, that is what creates the wealth divide is people having access to the information, access to professionals, and, being able to implement once they receive the information. So my goal is to, offer the free tax plan, so that and then also offer education so that if they can't afford to hire, if people can't afford to hire an accountant or a CPA or an attorney to set up your trust, that you have the knowledge, you have the tools, and you have the strategy to do what you need to do so that you can build a legacy for your family.
So something that's typically $5,000 you're doing for free. Totally
Absolutely.
understand the reasoning behind it. My question would
Yeah.
be, how do you fulfill on that? I have to assume a lot of people are taking you up on that. So is it something you've automated to, still have yourself time in the day? Walk us through that process.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we first started doing tax planning, maybe about 7 years ago, it's a one-to-one service, and it always will be, right? Because I always say personal finance is first is personal. So there's not a one size fits all strategy for every individual. So the way that we are able to grow and scale that absolutely is with AI, right? By the grace of AI, we're able to automate a lot of that process, put out a free tax plan for potential clients, and then we have a specialist hop on a call to review the strategy, give some information on how we can help, understand what the client needs are, and then offer them services on the back end, right? So that could look like tax preparation, that could look like retirement planning. Maybe someone is in transition from their last job and they have retirement money that they're trying to figure out what to do with, right? So our goal is to help people that are in transition to fill the gaps of understanding what's next in their financial journey.
Got it. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And so the free tax planning, you could call that like a potential lead
Lead
magnet,
generator.
right? Lead generator.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, we all got them, right? That makes sense. Really like how you did that there. You mentioned some investments, right? Hey, I got this money in my IRA. It's probably sitting there not invested. What should I do with it? And I used to work at a financial firm, so I know a little bit about what goes on back there. I'm curious, do you guys charge like a retainer, or is there a percentage of assets? Because I know that's very popular in the financial services space.
Yeah, no, great question. So no, we don't charge a retainer. So we have several ways that we can work with you, as I mentioned. So let's dive into Money Maven Club. So
Mhm.
Money Maven Club is a community where you can get access to the education. You'll go and work with and find your own professional, but we help you understand what professionals you need, what questions you should ask, right? Because what I've learned is that typically people just don't have the knowledge, right? So if we can give you the knowledge, you go out and ask your questions to your professionals. Now you're having more fruitful relationships, right? Most business owners work with an accountant or a CPA, but they feel like, maybe they just work with them one time a year. And if that's the case, let me show you what that relationship should look like. That way you can open up the conversation and really get the benefit of what it looks like to work with that kind of financial professional, right? So we can coach you into knowing who you need, what you need, and how you go out and find it. So that way you don't have to let go of your current financial team. Or we have a team that can provide the services as well, whether that's financial planning, tax strategy implementation, life insurance or retirement planning, and business structure, right, for your legacy with your tax and trust planning.
Got it. So you guys really offer both, right? You have your own services, but also you have an education portion so people can continue to work with their advisor, their account, whatever it is. You guys
Exactly.
just really help to grow that relationship and really help the individual become more of a partner in that relationship. Because, like I've said, I've seen a lot of things where the financial advisor kind of just goes, "You're going to do this, this, and this," and then they don't question why. Is this really what's best for me? And it's because they
Yeah,
don't have the education. So that's where you guys step in.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm. Love that process. Love the process and kind of the way you've put that together. Looking to the back end of the business for a second. How are these individuals, typically the business owners, entrepreneurs, how are they currently finding you guys to work with you?
Yeah. So in the past, right, because we were so white glove, and we still do offer white glove service, for business owners that are operating above a certain level. So it totally depends on, where they find us and who they hear about us from. So typically our white glove clients come from one-to-one referrals, right? It's normally a client that we've worked with or that we know. We sponsor events, we participate in community organizations. So our white glove clients are typically found in smaller rooms. We do run some ads, and I also love partnerships. So for the past 10 years, I've had some amazing partners that I've been able, people that I've been able to partner with, and I come in and I educate in their community. They'll come and educate in mine. And then, of course, just like anyone else, we're stuck on the wheel of running ads, and so that's typically for the free tax plan. But actually, in January, we will be on billboards here in Georgia, Atlanta, which is where we're based. So I'm super excited about that campaign. I also have a team. I think that in this year of AI and, we've been through the pandemic where everyone was kind of separated. I think it's really important to get in touch to people. So we're also deploying teams to do small live events every single month, right? I think it's important that we, get in the room and love on the people. And that's really how the best connections are made.
I love that you mentioned that last part. In the world of AI generated content, human connection is
It's
really what's
key.
going to put people on the top. It's
Absolutely.
and it's gotten to a place where like even like just normal people like myself and you like we can spot AI content
Oh, yeah.
and our brain automatically turns off. We're done. We're done with it. Versus if we see Shaniqua, if we see XYZ and this person and we're like, hey, I relate to some of this. This makes sense. I see myself in that person.
Yeah.
That connection, I think, is really what's going to drive business.
Yeah, that human touch is it's key. It's going to be the differentiator in businesses that make it over this next decade.
Mm.
Because just like we can spot the trends, we can spot AI. The average person is also going to be trained to spot it, and they're either going to love it or they're going to hate it. But the difference in people that are going to make the decisions, they're going to see it, know it, and then make better decisions based on real connections. So yeah, that's definitely an important part of our future rollout.
Sure is. You've mentioned your team a couple times. A lot of people struggle, a lot of entrepreneurs struggle, delegating out tasks, right? Growing the team. So I love to hear about your journey of growing your team.
Whew, well, it has been a journey. It's always a journey. I think having a team So I'll take it back to when I first left corporate, right? Because for 10 years, I was solo entrepreneur and I helped hundreds of clients a year, but it was super focused January to April. And I was just locked in helping my clients and working my 9 to 5 job. So for 10 full years, I did it solo. And then when I left corporate, I'm like, okay, my thought process was, well, number one, what's the fastest way for me to replace my income from the job? In addition to, what we were doing, revenue wise. And of course, that I serve more customers, right? I either serve more customers or increase my price. And so the first thing I did was I decided to start to serve more customers. So what does that mean? Now I need more team. I need some automation. I need the systems. So the first thing I did fresh out the gate was hire a mentor. And if I didn't do that, I know my business would have broken, right? Because, when you're working in a space of handling people's personal information, you have to have trust. You have to, provide a comfortable environment for them to share that kind of, to get that vulnerable with you. So I hired a mentor. He helped me lay out my 7-figure business plan very early on in the process. And then throughout these last 8 years, I've had to, just test. And so at one point, like I mentioned, my first goal, I thought, well, maybe I'll get more clients. Did that, had hundreds of clients, and I hated it. And then I had to come back and say, okay, well, this is not what I want. We had a great year. We made great money, but it doesn't feel like I want it to feel. And so for me, that was more important. And so what I started to do was what I called rinsing my clients. And so that rinsing process for me, that looked like every year I was doubling my prices because I knew that the people that would stay, they were staying for me. They were staying for the service. They were staying for loyalty. And the other people, they would just fall off. And so I continued to do that for years. I began to add more value. I created a more higher ticket white glove experience and, was able to build a business that felt more like home instead of just work. So that's super important for me.
That is huge for so many business owners, especially that last part you just said. For a lot of business owners who are working in the business, do you really own a business or do you just have a high paying job?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
It was a job for a long time for me. And then I learned how to step out, right? Trust people. I'm a mom, I was a wife. I was married at the time. But as a mom and a wife and balancing all the things, I knew that I had to trust people with my business. And so, by the grace of God, I have been able to bring in great people, that I can trust. And, you got to pay people well. And I think, people will show up for you if you're showing up for yourself, if you're showing up for your business, and if you consistently show up for them. Now I've also had to restructure, right? Because there are times of ebbs and flows of business and, AI is here and AI, can replace someone that, it might have used to take us 2 hours to put together a tax plan. And now it doesn't, right? Now we can maybe in 2 hours, we could probably do 20 tax plans. So, I think the future of hiring employees looks like, me being the person to create an environment where people want to help and want to serve and want to grow.
Yeah, very well said. 2026 is, I was going to say slowly, but to be honest, it's very, very quickly approaching. Do you have any goals that you've set for yourself in the business for next year you're looking to achieve?
Yes, honestly, they're so small. My mentor, he tells me I need to double them every time. Every time. Next year, honestly, our goal is only to help 1,000, right? We want to help 1,000 people implement a financial plan into their life. The goal for them is, well, for us, we want to help 1,000 people build 6-figure bank accounts and 7-figure net worth. That's the goal. Only 1,000, and it's already done.
It's already done. I love it. I love it. Great, great goal to have. A lot of impact being made, that's for sure. And we desperately need it. We desperately need that. So many people need that. So I love the work that you're doing for sure. Where can the listeners find you? Where can they connect with you guys online?
Yes, so I am personally on Instagram at Money Maven Club. You guys can get your free tax plan at maven.tax, maven.tax. And you can follow the business on Instagram as well at maven.financial. We look forward to working with you and can't wait to serve you.
Wonderful. Dr. Shaniqua, pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Zach. I appreciate you. And I look forward to growing with you guys next year.
Absolutely. And that will wrap up another inspiring episode of The Founder's Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go and connect with Shaniqua on all of her social media, the business as well. All of those links will be in the show notes and description down below. Go get your free tax plan. We all know we could save some more dollars on taxes. That's for sure. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're looking to scale your business, and you really want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we went from 0 to 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.